The only one that we think will probably make it to the ballot to be voted on will be milk, because they have $1 million and change from those same companies that are trying to keep it. Cetera and Medellin both gave over $500,000 to this petition to get it out there. And they mailed it to everyone. Actually, a lot of people have been posting. They mailed it out, and you can just sign it and send it back. And they need 766,000 signatures, like the elders for all of the petitions. And if that gets passed, what it will do is will limit the amount that you can have on you to 2.5 ounces, which seems like a lot, but again, if you have anything over, do you go to jail? So now it makes it recreational, but only for that amount. It also doesn't offer a way to get people who are in jail currently out of jail. It actually makes it harder for us to change the Constitution in the future. So it is a very backward petition, and there's no way that we could possibly stop that one. The other two, Florida to Freedom, I'm very much in favor for. I actually brought it. It's on the table behind everyone. If you haven't signed it, please do so. That one will make it legal for anyone to have any part of the plant, growing, not growing, root seeds, you name it, any part of the plant. If you're 21 and older in any quantity for any reason, no need to go to the doctor, et cetera, et cetera. The other one, Regulate Florida, is a 10-page. They have condensed it down to 4. Once they submit it to the court, they determine it's 10 pages. And it limits marijuana. I mean, it's, they're all trying to get on the ballot, and anything that makes it, I guess, might move the needle forward. I just really hope that it does.
I keep getting myself. Thank you, Ms. Bueno. So let's just move on down the line. So for Courtney Omega, roughly half of all Americans believe the police aren't held accountable for misconduct. And that skews higher in predominantly minority communities. How can this be addressed, and what can be done overall to diffuse adversarial relationships that exist between police and many of the communities in which they are charged to serve?
I'm always, when I'm asked what questions are with the concerns or challenges regarding law enforcement and African American communities, it's always a difficult one for me because I grew up in a city that definitely respected our law enforcement. I never had an issue with law enforcement. And to move after getting married, I moved to Philadelphia, where law enforcement and community policing had a different undertone and a different take. I also sit currently on the Civilian Investigative Panel representing District 2 in Coconut Grove and the areas that extend into Overtown. And recently, one of the last cases that we heard, not the previous meeting, but the meeting prior, was a young woman, African American, absolutely, if you had an idea of a school teacher look, she was it. Her home was ransacked. She was made to lie face down while her home was searched for drugs. She was very complicit because she was wanting to not be the lady who picking up her autistic daughter. She said she hadn't had that conflict of time. She would have argued with them more, but she went ahead and was complicit and let them search her home. And of course they found nothing. And it really touched me differently when she presented this issue at the last meeting that we had, because I actually stayed about 3 blocks over when I lived in Overtown with my 2 children. I stayed about 3 blocks over from this place where she was apprehended. And I thought, my mom used to always have a saying, by the grace of God, there go I. And I thought, wow, I've never had an issue with law enforcement. I've never been stopped. I've never felt like I was given improper treatment because I'm African American. But here the situation was because Overtown being not of the best areas, but she was just inappropriately singled out. She was just put through this situation, and the only thing that she actually asked for was a letter of apology. And the Miami Police Department refused to give it. They said that they did everything the way they were supposed to do it. We are at a real standstill with how to approach these conversations, because too many times when we do have the extreme actions, they go unaccounted for. We can look no further than Trayvon Martin. Tragedy. Right in our backyard. When these horrible acts go unaccounted for, they go supported, it's very hard to come up with real solutions on how to move the conversation forward. And unfortunately, it also becomes very difficult even for myself to be a voice of mediation or for resolve when so many of our community residents, and I mean good, upstanding people, see no justice from a law enforcement, a system that's supposed to protect and serve.
Thank you, Courtney. I gave you Marialexandra's minutes because I knew that was a complex question. So. Okay, so next, Dennis Misigoy. So this is pretty broad. So from the perspective of the enclave at Black Point, what should the U.S.'s role in the world be?
You know, if I could actually take a step back, even with the question that Courtney had, I think one big thing is, and it's not going to solve all the problems, but I think one thing that can be where you can reduce some of the contributing factors is getting away from the policing of nonviolent behaviors. I think most people are pretty good with the idea of the police going after murderers, rapists, thieves, etc., etc. Once you start policing all these other kind of behaviors or taking people away for too high, the sound being too loud, trying to arrest somebody for that, or all of this sort of interesting set of things where you're not actually violating someone's individual rights, is when you start to create that adversarial relationship, and that breaks down the respect people have for law enforcement. To the actual question, in terms of the U.S.'s role in the world, it again, I guess, should sort of be the opposite, maybe not quite, but not the policeman of the world, which I think is what has been going on, at least for my lifetime, pretty much. Certainly at least my adult life. I mean, we're in the longest war in American history, with about a half a dozen others spread out, not a single one declared constitutionally. We haven't had a constitutional, congressional declaration of war, which is the only legal way under the Constitution. We haven't had one of those since World War II. And yet we barely had I always think it's interesting when I hear people use the phrase peace through strength, when there really hasn't been peace. It may be compartmentalized, it may be away from us, it may not be on our streets, but it's still happening, and it is coming home in a certain form. Not just the cost in terms of dollars, where we're at $22 trillion in debt and counting, with no end in sight, but also the human costs. The countless veterans who come home, whether it's, even if it's not physical damage, we have this epidemic right now of 20 plus suicides a day from veterans. I think I recently saw in the last couple of days record high numbers of active duty committing suicide. I think we have more soldiers. We're a very powerful military force. We're to the point where we're losing more troops to suicide than to actually being killed from enemy combatants. Make of that whatever you want, but to me, it's the most troubling statistics. Even if you don't value any of the other things, even if you don't value the lives of the other people on the other side, if you don't value the dollars, certainly I think these lives at least need to count enough. And the question is, how much is enough? Even, and I talk to a lot of people who, and I think I'm bouncing in a few different directions here, but even when I talk to folks who think it's appropriate for the U.S. to take the role that it has and to, again, try to be the arbiter of all that's good and decide who's going to be in charge of which other countries, even if you believe that, I would still ask the question, how much is it worth? How many lives is it worth? And the cost. And do you know, talk to some veterans sometime about what some of these guys are coming back after having done and dealing with. It's extremely troubling, and I would say that the cost isn't worth it. I think return to what is the appropriate role. What is the oath that our military takes? It's not to police the world. It's not to decide who should run every other country on earth. Defend and uphold the Constitution. And we haven't had a legal declaration of war under the Constitution since World War II. Thanks.
Okay, terrific. So that was, I really enjoyed that, Dennis. You're a true politician. One question was asked to you, and you began answering another one.
Got to practice.
You're sharpening those skills. All right, so now this is what I've been looking forward to. I could ask all the pretty tough questions in the world, but it gives you a perspective on some of the things that these libertarians are about. But we really do want to hear from you. You're the people in the community. You're the people that we're asking to vote for them and other libertarians. So let's hear what's on your mind. Please, like I said, keep your questions to under a minute. Please don't grandstand. Just ask us a question and wait for the answer. And but really, no topic is off limits. So anybody?
Sure. So I agree with a lot of what you guys said in your output. Why a third party? America has been a democracy for about over 200 years, and the logic of democratic elections leads to two parties. More so, America's not like Europe. If you look at Israel, they have, how many parties do they have? They've had 2 elections, they can't make up their mind. America has a 2-party system. If you want to move an ideology like libertarianism, classical liberalism, an economic point of view, which I agree with, I'm a Chicago boy. What you do in America, you take over a party. Look at what's happened to the Democrats. They've been taken over by socialists. In the 1890s, the populists, and then took over the Democrat Party. They ran William Jennings Bryan 4 times. The progressives. So my question is, why a third party? It's juvenile and suicidal.
Okay, so we can answer this. Let's go my right here, left to right, and Mr. Misigoy, you can answer.
Sure. So I think the first thing I'd say, you mentioned that the Democrats have been taken over by socialists. I'd say the Republicans have too. So I think that's part of the problem, is that, people have made efforts. I think most of us here who've been following libertarianism for some time, we can point to guys we kind of like in the Republican Party, Ron Paul, Justin Amash up until he left very recently. So it's
Rand
not
Paul is still in.
yeah, a little too wishy-washy for me. It compromises a little too much, and that's in general really what's been with the Republican Party. They've talked a good talk, but they haven't walked the walk. And unfortunately, again, do we owe them our vote? Does our vote belong to them, or does our vote belong to us? And what is, again, people have tried that, and plenty of people have, but it clearly hasn't worked. The Republican Party has been resistant to actual fiscal responsibility, to a variety of forms of responsible government, limited government. They've turned around. They've gone in the opposite direction. Like I say, we're having $1 trillion deficits every year. Now, we had Republican president, Republican House, Republican Senate.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore, but we had for 2 years.
Absolutely, you're right.
And we had it for the first 6 years under Bush, and skyrocketing debt. And so, how much is enough? I mean, how long Why give them my support? If they don't earn it,